Well, greetings yet once again, fellow Star Trek fans. I hope you're doing well. And I got another little Star Trek related goodie to share with you today. Before I begin, I just want to apologize to you guys. I recently did a video with the QMX Tribble. That was a 2014 release, and I wanted to show you guys the Tribble and some of the history of the Tribble in the episode. So I put up the episode preview. Good heavens, what was I thinking with the copyright strikes? So that was blocked, and I put in the fight scene between Mr. Scott and a Klingon on Space Station K7 because I thought that would be a good little interesting tidbit for you guys to see. Again, the copyright strike, what was I thinking? So I gotta chop it up, and I'll put it back up, and it'll be just me speaking, and I'll show pictures. You know, nice and boring, just like YouTube wants. So I'm sorry about that, and I'll be posting up that video and putting it back up very shortly. But this one, I want to share, the little goodie I want to share with you today, we actually go to Star Trek The Next Generation. And this is once the series was finished, we move on to the feature films. And what I want to show you today is from Star Trek Insurrection. This is the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-E. Now, I don't know if they all come with this, but this one actually comes with the captain's yacht. And it has like a little arm that comes out of the bottom of the ship to where the captain's yacht would launch from. So that's pretty cool. Again, I don't know if they all have this or just mine. This is Collector's Edition number 002151. And this is Playmates. You can see the authentic lights and sounds from the hit motion picture. 3-button activated starship sounds. Light up warp engine nacelles and impulse engines. Captain's yacht shuttlecraft includes Starfleet display base. And you can see the little arm that the yacht goes on. And this is Playmates stock number 65091. You can see a picture of Captain Picard and Mr. Data and a member of the Sanu, or the Sonar. Looking at the side of the box, you can see again it shows the ship on the base, the stock number, Star Trek Insurrection, U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-E. And I'll show you the other side. Pretty much the same. The side of the box. It shows you what it does, the stock number, 3 AA batteries, and this is a 1998 release. Let's see if there's anything on top. It could be the same thing. Yep, but the top has a window where you can actually see the yacht. So the back of the box shows the model. Now, a while ago I had done the, let's see, I believe it was a Star Trek First Contact, U.S.S. Enterprise E. And I know that these are far, far away from the Diamond Select Enterprise E. And when I put that video up, she got a lot of nasty remarks. One thing I'd like you guys to remember is this is 1998. I believe that the other one that I had shown you was 1995 or around there. I'll put up the date if I get it wrong. Well, my point is that for its time period, this was pretty detailed and pretty good. It's not fair to compare this against the model kits that they have today. Yes, maybe they're from the same mold, original mold, but there have been modifications. And sure not fair to compare this to the Diamond Select Enterprise E or the Bondi, and you guys know what I mean. They got a lot that they have out now, but it shows it on the stand and the captain's yacht. See that little arm that I was talking about with you? And you can see the little labels that go to the different parts of the ship. And it shows the same picture of Captain Picard. And it gives a little bit of information about the movie, not much. Having taken an oath to obey the Prime Directive, Starfleet officers and crew have sacrificed their lives to protect it. But when the order to violate the Prime Directive comes from Starfleet itself, Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Lieutenant Commander Data, and the crew of the U.S.S. Enterprise NCC-1701-E must make the most difficult decision of all, to follow orders or to mutiny in the name of upholding Starfleet's most sacred principle, and of course that being the Prime Directive. Federation Starship Profile. Starship U.S.S. Enterprise, designation NCC-1701-E, was a Sovereign-class starship, captained by Jean-Luc Picard. The propulsion is warp-driven. In the current mission, the Enterprise E has entered a spatial anomaly called the Briar Patch in response to a reported attack on a joint Federation sonar research team. Also collect Starfleet Type 2 phaser, and it shows you the different things that they have. So off to the bottom, to activate the button or activate the ship, they say to push the button with the sounds and the warp engines, and it shows again on the base all set up. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and I'll put the camera onto the tripod and we'll take it out of the box. Alright, so we got the camera on the tripod. First thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the side and we're going to take the ship out of the box. Put that to the side. It does come with some paperwork, and I'll show you that in 1 second. Let's take the ship herself. Start taking the pieces out. So here's the arm that the captain's yacht will be attached to. You can see it's translucent plastic. Next, we see the base. You can see it's the basic Delta logo from the Star Trek series from Starfleet. And this is common with a lot of the Playmates ships. Alright, this is the stand. And let me show you, you can see the little pieces that the ship rests on. And let me show you how this goes into the base. Basically it slides. You see this little notch? Well, you slide into the grooves and then this little plastic piece will come up and lock it into place. Thusly, you hear that little click, you can see it. locked into place. So we'll put that aside for a minute. And we got the nacelles. You can see this is the starboard side nacelle. And the port side, and you can see the electronics are connected by little conductors that connect when you attach it to the secondary hull. Moving on to the ship herself. And again, guys, please be kind, because this is 1998 release, and it's really not fair to compare her to the Bondi or the Diamond Select. And she really doesn't look all that bad. I'm not sure if this one, I think this one came out second. The one I showed you guys earlier, I think was the first release of this ship. So they might have made some modifications. So when you put the nacelles on, this, you could tell this will be the starboard nacelle. You make sure the camera shows you what I'm doing. You just kind of lock it right into place. Make sure there's no gap. We'll do the same thing for the other side. It clicks into place, and there are no gaps. And you can see where the base will connect. And let's see, the batteries are either dead or there are no batteries. So you can see the Phillip screw. And the whole thing kind of lifts off. And you can see the place where we had the batteries. 3 AA batteries. So let's put the batteries in. All right, I'm going to put in Duracell batteries. So I noticed the deflector dish does not light up. There's some light leak on the Bassard collector. You can see the impulse engines light up, as do the Bassard collectors and the tops of the nacelles. Now, as with all Playmates, or a lot of Playmates, you can either have the option of using the piece or the battery cover that goes and connects to the stand, or they give you a different battery cover if you want to hang it or suspend it from a ceiling, where it doesn't have the depressions for it. So we're going to put it onto the stand, and like I said, it's pretty simple. You've got the triangular shape, and then you've got the little pins that guide it right into place. Let me set her up for you. And you can see she's ready to display. Turn her around for you, show you her other side. Again, for a 1998 release, I think this is pretty respectable. You can see the captain's yacht. To hook up the captain's yacht, you can see there's a little pin on the end of the stick, and there's a hole in the bottom of the captain's yacht. And let's see, I got that backwards. This one, there's a smaller pin, and it's suspended on the captain's yacht is suspended on a little arm. The larger pin goes into the bottom of the ship. Let me show you that. You can see right under the, sorry about that, right under the bridge or the sensor dome. You can see where that would go. Well, mine doesn't seem like it wants to stay into the hole. You can see the pin and the little hole that you guide it into. For some reason, it just doesn't want to stay. Nope. Every time I try to get it in, it doesn't stay. So I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to glue it permanently into place, but you can see the pin. And it goes underneath. And let me show you the captain's yacht. There's a smaller pin that keeps it in place, and it rests on. And this is supposed to go right there, and it's supposed to stay in place, just like the captain's yacht is leaving. Now, I had never set this up before, so I don't believe this is probably just because it just doesn't fit well. You can see the pin is not broken in any way, and the hole on the bottom of the ship is not altered in any way. So let's verify, because it does come with paperwork, and let me show you the paperwork that it comes with. It does come with a decal sheet, and as you can surmise, yeah, I put them on a long time ago. If I were to get it now, I probably would leave them on the decal sheet, but the decals don't come on the ship. They come in a little sheet, and as far as the instructions go, I apologize for hitting the stand. Star Trek Insurrection. And you can see in diagram A, insert plug or narrow end of display arm under saucer is shown in diagram A. Attach captain's yacht to the pin on the wider end of display arm is shown as in diagram B. Attach labels 1 through 20 is shown in the diagram. You can see the buttons. To activate lights and sound, press the corresponding activation buttons as shown in diagram D. The engine nacelles and impulse engines light up with each of the following sounds: warp engine, photon torpedo, and shields up. And you can see that in diagram D. You can see the instructions to put the nacelles on. That would be diagram E, and the battery placement. You can see 1998 Playmates. Stock number 65091. And there's nothing on the back. So, try the diagram, the instructions one more time to see if there's something that I'm doing wrong. You can see, and this is where it's going to go. It doesn't want to snap into place. Yep, it won't stay in. Well, and I'm not about to force it, and I certainly am not going to glue it. So, that's the little arm. I'm beginning to wonder if this was standard issue for these, because I haven't seen the Enterprise E. Maybe I'll do some research. If they all come like this, I'll show what that looks like, and if there's a different version of this that does not have the arm, I'll show what that looks like as well. But let me show you guys the sound effects one more time. We got the warp engines. The second would be the photons. And the shields up. You can see the detailing. The escape pods. They took the Enterprise D, took her saucer section, and then just turned it around for the Enterprise E. Let me show you the Bassard collectors. And the impulse engines. Torpedoes, and the shields up. Now, spying on them with another race called the sonar. And what the sonar want Starfleet to do is to remove the Baku off the planet so the sonar can have possession of the planet. So things are a little fishy. Mr. Data he's on a 2-week mission to observe the Baku, and they're totally hidden from the native people because of the Prime Directive, Starfleet's #1 rule. Well, Mr. Data starts to malfunction, and he goes into a different program. He ends up exposing Starfleet to the Baku. So they're wondering what's going on. So Mr. Data eventually gets back to the Enterprise. Captain Picard and Mr. Worf rescue Data when he's attacking them in his shuttlecraft. So to make a long story short, the Baku are unaware that the Sona want them gone. The Sona are a race of people that have health issues, problems with their skin, and they need to go through regenerative processes often to keep their skin intact. Wondering why there's such an interest in the planet, the Enterprise goes to investigate, and Captain Picard makes contact with the Baku. And the crew starts noticing subtle changes about their health. And one of the more amusing scenes, while they're on a planet, Dr. Crush into all right, let me get back to why the planet is important. All the crew is feeling all these effects of like they did when they were young, and they come to realize that the planet itself has a special kind of radiation that regenerates cells. We're used to radiation destroying cells, but this type of radiation actually rejuvenates the cells. So the people on the planet have been there for hundreds of years, but they haven't aged at all. As a matter of fact, they started to regress in their age and physical characteristics. So this is very important that the Sona harness all of this radiation, but in doing so, they will make the planet uninhabitable. And the Sona devised this huge, like a machine to harness. by the Sona regaining the planet. So again, this is in a nutshell the movie. I don't want to ruin a movie for you. You can go and watch the details yourself and, form your own opinion of what you like about the movie, what you don't like. But the Enterprise, under attack from the Sona ships, go into what they call the Briar Patch, and that's a area of very unstable gases. Their plans were to beam the village into the holodeck, and they'd be none the wiser, and then beam them onto a planet somewhere. Well, the Enterprise, the Captain Picard, uses that strategy against the Sona. So when they're trying to set up their the weapon, well, not really a weapon, it's going to harness all the energy, they transport them to a holodeck without realizing it. And it gives them a little bit more time to go and sabotage the collection unit. But anyway, that's Star Trek Insurrection, and this is the U.S.S. Enterprise, NCC-1701-E. And again, guys, be kind to her. She was made in 1998. I know there's a lot of, or lack of, detailing, but for 1998, she's still pretty, and she's still the Enterprise. The light up nacelles. As well as the light up impulse engines. Unfortunately, nothing else lights up on the saucer section. Well, actually, nothing lights up except the impulse engines. It would have been nice if the deflector dish would have lit up, but that's just painted on. You can see the Bassard collectors and the reds on the sides. See, that doesn't, this is actually painted on, where we know that the actual Enterprise would light up. And there she is, the Enterprise E, NCC-1701-E. She is a Sovereign class starship. Shields up. So, my friends, that is the Enterprise Z from Star Trek Insurrection. That comes with the captain's yacht and the little arm to put the captain's yacht onto. It would be nice if it would have stayed on, but it just doesn't want to stay on. So you can see this is what the captain's yacht would be on underneath. I don't know if it was meant to be glued or not, but I'm not going to glue mine. But I did want to show you guys what she looked like and the sounds that she made. So, my friends, that was the Enterprise Z from Star Trek Insurrection. I thank you for watching, and I'll make another video and put it up very, very soon. Take care, everybody.